Welcome back to Cooking with Chef Dad. Thanks for joining me again. This time, we're gonna do sides for our dinner. But before we do that, I wanna tell you why they call me Chef Dad. So I started out in culinary school, and the first day that I went home and tried my uniform on, I had my uniform on, chef's jacket, nice and crisp and clean, very nice, clean looking. My youngest son came out of the room and said, "Uh-oh, we got Chef Dad in the house." And the name just stuck. That's why they call me Chef Dad. That and the fact that I love to cook great food. So we get in the kitchen and we'll cook together. So let's get started. Today, we're gonna talk about a few things to accompany your meal. Today, we're going to do a recipe called Vichy carrots. Vichy carrots is a great way to get kids to eat vegetables because they are very, very sweet, nice, and healthy for you. Also, we'll do some sauteed spinach. And with our sauteed spinach, we'll add some toasted pine nuts. We'll toast our pine nuts first, and then we'll add them at the very finish of the spinach because those toasted pine nuts, that toasted pine nut oil will give the spinach a really great flavor that's going to match up with the entire meal. Afterwards, we'll do a nice alternative to mashed potatoes. We'll do mashed cauliflower. So mashed cauliflower is a good alternative if someone is watching their carbohydrate intake. You can always do a mashed vegetable as opposed to another starch. So let's get started. So now we're ready to start with our pine nuts. We'll start with our pine nuts, and you want everything to kind of finish at the same time so that everything is served hot at the same time. So as we start our pine nuts, we'll get the fire going, and we'll just put our pine nuts right in the pan. Let them just sit right there and do their thing. They're fine. While our pine nuts are going, we're going to go ahead and start our carrots. Again, everything has to finish at the same time, but you have to take into consideration cooking times. Our carrots are going to take just a little bit longer to cook, so we'll start those now. For your carrots, you're going to need 4 ounces of sugar. You're going to need a couple tablespoons of butter and some water. And you put everything in at the same time. So in goes the carrots, in goes the sugar, in goes the butter, and in goes the water. And we'll turn that on. And we'll let that cook down. Move our pine nuts around. And if you see, you can see the oils starting to actually form in the pan from the pine nuts. The pine nuts add a great flavor. The oils in there, it just complements the spinach, and the coconut oil that we will cook with complements it very well. So we'll let those finish toasting. Let those do that. Let the carrots cook. Our cauliflower, we've already blanched and shocked. So what we did by blanch and shock, we boiled it in water for about 3 minutes and then cooled it down rapidly. That stops the cooking process. Let it cool down so it's easy to handle. This is where our mashed cauliflower is going to come from. Our pine nuts are, I wish you could smell it. Our pine nuts are doing very well. And we're going to pop those right back into the bowl that they came in. Nice and easy. Now that we have our carrots going, and they're going really good, you want to let those go ahead and reduce down. This is going to reduce probably by about 65–75%. So about 3/4 of the way, because you want to be just left with a nice glaze. Not watery, not too syrupy, but a nice glaze. While that's going, I'll go ahead and add my shallots to my saute pan and let those go ahead and get going. I've added a little bit of coconut oil on top of the pine nut oil just to bring those flavors forward. So now shallots go right in, and we'll let those saute up really quickly. So in our mashed cauliflower, I've got 2 tablespoons of butter and our cauliflower that I've already broken up, mashed up in a food processor. You can use a food processor or you can use a potato masher. And it mashes up very easily, just like you would mashed potatoes. So we'll sit this over here. Let's tend back to our shallots real quick. Already washed our spinach. Very important that you do. Even if it says triple washed, double washed, however many times washed, you always want to wash your spinach before you start to use it. And it's going straight into our saute pan. It looks like a lot is going into the pan, but you'll see once this starts to wilt down, and you don't want to overcook it, there'll be plenty of room in this pan. This is not the spinach that you grew up on, most likely, because it did not come out of a can. It's very fresh, all locally sourced, and really good. We won't overcook it, so it'll be very good for you. Carrots are doing very well. So, everything is done. Everything is ready to be plated. Our chicken, nice and warm. All right, so let's get some stuff so we can show you what it looks like. First thing we're going to do, we're going to take our spinach and we're going to plate our spinach right here. And the way we plate our spinach, just let everything kind of fall right naturally. But wait a minute. We did something with our spinach at the very beginning that we have to finish it with. Some pine nuts. We didn't forget about those. Toasted pine nuts right over the top adds a great flavor to it. All right, now let's grab our mashed cauliflower. Mashed cauliflower is going to go right here. I think this is the plate that I said I wanted to put it on. If it's not the plate that I wanted to put it on, it is now. So let's dress this up. Our mashed cauliflower looks really good. Looks almost like mashed potatoes. Take a little bit of fresh parsley right over the top. Oh, that looks so divine. That looks so divine. Now, last but not least, our carrots that are nice and glazed. What did I do with my spoon? I need to get another spoon. Here we are. It happens sometimes. You know, you go, you think you got everything, and then you remember, hey, I left my boots. I left my BDUs. I left something. So you go back and you get it, but nothing is a problem. Plate our carrots up really easy like that. They look so good and they smell even better. Now, my glaze is just a tad bit thin for some people's taste. I don't mind my glaze being this thin, but if you want to, you can put it back on the stove, reduce it down if you want a thicker glaze. Me, this is just fine, right over the top. Tastes so good. We'll save that. Our chicken is right in the middle. Let's move some stuff around. Let's get ready for dinner. We're done with all of this. At the very end, a little salt over everything, a little white pepper. Don't want to use black pepper on your cauliflower because all you'll see is black specks all over the place. A little bit of white pepper. And everything is now done. We'll take our rotisserie chicken and maybe cut a piece off. And let's go ahead and serve this up. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I smell food that smells this good, I've got to dig in. So here we are. Some of our cauliflower right over the side. Some of our oh so delicious spinach and pine nuts. Oh, definitely get some of those pine nuts right on top. I like pine nuts, and this is what I do when no one's looking. I add a few more because I like pine nuts. So now, last but not least, our carrots. Very nice, healthy meal. 5 to 7 minutes at the stove. Your local rotisserie chicken, and there you have it. Chicken rotisserie with sides to complement. Very easy, very healthy. Now it's time to taste it. I know. Perfect. Oh, you guys should taste it. Dinner is done. I'm Mike Bogans. They call me Chef Dad for a reason. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, eat well and you'll feel good. Thanks a lot. See you next time.